Yes. Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to my living room, aka my new office of these weeks. I hope you're all doing well. Crazy times. I have still no idea what we ended up in, and I hope you're all doing okay, even though there's so many limitations and you can't really go anywhere. And well, what I thought that I can do, because like I told you, I can't do a class through Zoom because I'm just caught up also with my 2-year-old all day and the big belly by now. But like this, I thought I can send you like a little bit of a video showing some things, giving you some ideas for exercises that are games to play that are fun to do for these ages, just so you have something to some inspiration and some variety to do at home. And like I said, I'm more than happy to hear back from you, see videos of what you're doing and how far you are with that, and trying to help you each individually with that a little bit. And try to see if we can get something positive out of this whole period. So, what we were supposed to be talking about by now in the active rollers class is basically because, well, what the age is so that we are at now. This is not the age yet that they are going to actually crawl. Soon could be. The age where babies start to crawl is, it's a big variety. It can be somewhere between 6 to 11 months. Most babies start crawling somewhere between 7 to 10 months, most around 8, somewhere there. But to get there, there's a lot of stages in between. And that's something that I'm going to talk about in this video also. I'm going to talk about, and the exercises are also built around that, about symmetry and bilateral integration. I'll explain later what that means exactly. These are two components that are very important for still also rolling, but rolling more easily, and crawling later. Why? Because, well, if you look at crawling, for example, you need both hands, both legs, both ears, eyes, focusing to all work together, so symmetrically, not necessarily symmetrically as in doing the same thing, but they need to be constantly adjusted one to the other in order to be able to do that. So what we're going to be doing in this period is learning all kinds of skills that already prepare them for that. And then eventually it's going to be also motivation of the by the surroundings, where the toys are at, for them to actually do the crawling thing and actually starting to move forward. As I understand that some are almost or already doing a little bit. And then of course you have the belly crawling, which is the thing they will learn first. Like what we say in Hebrew, kachon. So on the belly, crawling forward, either with pulling both hands and kicking off with one leg, or really doing like this, but most babies will have one hand preferred in the front and then pull themselves forward. And later they will go to crawling on hands and knees. With that said, that not all babies crawl like that, and they also don't have to. Many babies, for example, do get to hands and knees position eventually, but never crawl like that. They just prefer the crawling on the belly and eventually get to standing and move on from that. That's all okay. No, there's many variations. There's the variation in which at some point they crawl not just neatly according to the book like this, but like this, or no, doesn't matter. Lots of variations, all okay. yeah, so that's that. I'm thinking whether, yeah, I think I'll just show you a few exercises and then get back to that a little bit. I have the help of my lovely, very small doll, my daughter's doll. Unfortunately, I don't have anything bigger or better fit for this, but I hope we can I can still manage to show you with the help of the doll a little bit, maybe also partially by myself, and we'll see. But we'll hope it will work out. So the first exercise we want to be doing, I want to show you is an exercise that is aimed at letting them take support on their hands a little bit, and then support on their hands and shifting the weight to one hand in order to free the other hand to reach for a toy or something interesting in front of them. Why do we want that? Because in order to crawl eventually, we need that weight shifting, because you can't place one hand in the front if your weight is still on that. You need to lift the weight off and then you can place it in the front. So that's why we need that. And by the way, whether this is something you can already do if your baby's not rolling yet, yeah, absolutely. Mostly that will be still a little bit harder, because the further the baby is with also the rolling process, the easier this becomes and they are more sturdy, but absolutely. So what do? You sit like this, long sit. You place the baby across from your legs, like this. The further I place the baby back, the easier it is. The further I bring to the front, the harder it is. As you can see, now the baby would need to put the hands really onto the floor, which makes it a lot harder on the arms. So for the younger babies, place them back a little bit more and let the weight be approximately here, like at the shoulder height, so that the arms are still coming off, but the main focus of the weight is still on your legs. Now the idea is to have the hands, it's really hard because the baby's really small, to have the hands like this onto the mat. So you can even place the hands a little bit, open them up a little bit and put them on the mat. And then what you want to do is take a toy, something interesting in the front. It can even also be, now that we're all at home and a lot of us also with partners, your partner can sit close to you and track the attention, and to let the baby look up, and preferably if the toy is up, but also like this, what you want to see is that one hand comes off and reaches for the toy, tries to reach for the toy. So again, when the baby is closer to my leg, it's easier because the weight is still mostly carried on my leg. And then to reach for a toy, if I put the baby further, so for example, let me see who could be doing that. Nina, maybe. And you could try with Leah also, if she's already like crawling that much. You can try to see, like try to move her forward a little bit and see if she wants to really put weight on the hands already. So the idea is to build up with that. Now, if it's still really hard, what you can do is even lift up this first leg a little bit, which means also that the arms are coming off for now. And then this is a little bit easier, and then you place back and you play with that a little bit. So that they don't get upset immediately from the exercise that it's too hard. Yeah, so that is one. And then the idea would be that the hands, what you will see is that at first the hands will be placed like this, closed, and you want them to be open. So you can try already even to do that. And you remember that when we would put the babies on the balls, for example, sometimes we would press them down from the shoulders, press them into the ball a little bit to let them feel the ball. So you can do that here as well. You can place the hands and then press down from the shoulder a little bit and press the hands like this. little bit up into the mat so that they feel like, hey, where am I, and why, and that the hand needs to be placed like that. And then you can see what we want to look for is not necessarily immediately this. That's far ahead. Some might even already do that. That's great. But we are looking for even only just, you know, the toy is here, only just this. That's already great. Why? Because it's quite a different task if they are flat on their belly on the floor doing that, or up on your leg, and then the pressure is much more onto the arms. It becomes much more of a plank position basically. And that's exactly why we do it like that on the legs, because also when crawling, you see that when I come up like this, there's much more pressure on the hands than when I'm like this. Much more weight on the hands, like here. Yeah, so that's that. Another part that we want to see develop in this period is the lateral flexion. What does that mean? This is lateral flexion of the back. To the side, to the left, and to the right, the tilt. So when a baby is on the belly, I'm gonna be a little bit up high, like this, then that means this. Which this is pivoting. Like going to the left, to the right, and turning themselves around. So pivoting is very essential because it does that. They need that movement in the back in order to do that. And pivoting is kind of something that they learn a little bit before crawling usually. And that already gives them also the experience of, hey, I can change my position. I can move around. I'm not really moving, like getting forward yet, but I'm turning around. So how do we stimulate that? By, first of all, already, whenever the babies play on playmat like this, you put the toys like this around. Not the baby, if the baby's here, not like this in front anymore, because that's easy now. Well, relatively. You try to put them a little bit like this. It can be still close. Doesn't have to be immediately far away, but a little bit to the side. This already stimulates that, because in order for my left hand to go there, I have to switch my weight a little bit to the right, and then I can take that. Or what many babies will do in the beginning is this, and then fall over. And that's fine. You can just let that happen. That they need to learn at some point that if I want to go to this toy, then what I want to do, and this is the beginning of pivoting, is this. I need to actually shift my weight to the right, move my left arm, move my right with it, and then I can get it. Or if it's even further, then it becomes really pivoting. So that's what we want them to learn. And then how do we do that? In this case specifically, with a toy. Either it can be a toy on a string or something that you hold, and then the baby is here, for example, on the belly. So you make sure you're behind so that he's not focused on you straight ahead, but on the toy. And I bring the toy here. I don't move it away, like to the side, but I bring it here, almost as if, yeah, basically towards the armpit. Not really, but this direction, not there. And then what I want to see is that if the baby is interested in a toy, then I want to see first of all that movement of the head, which already initiates also that movement of the back. So let's say like this, if I want to look there, then I'm also going to reach there already. So that's one. And then I want to see if the baby wants to get that toy, then she needs in this case to move the weight to the left arm in order to free the right arm, and then to take the toy. So what I want to do is just, first of all, just hands off. Just try to see how they react. And see if maybe they're already doing that a little bit, so you can continue. And if not, if you see that, for example, the baby, what they want to do is reach with this hand and then they fall over, or something like that. What you can do is hold here by the shoulders and stimulate that weight going to the other side. Really kind of tip them over onto that side a little bit. And then that other arm automatically comes off, comes free. And then they can reach for that. So that's holding from here, from the shoulders, like we did also before with supporting them in that position. Like holding them like this. And then I push her a little bit to the left so that the right arm comes free. And then they can reach. And then more and more placing the toy back so that eventually you would really want to see 90 degrees of pivoting, turning around. Yeah, so that's 2 exercises that are really important for stimulating both sides to work together and to learn what they actually need to do, how they actually need to shift their weight in order to free that other hand, which is later going to be the key to crawling. Oh yeah, and another fun exercise that I think is just really fun to do and is very, very helpful for them now in this new period where they're starting to move their weight, is that they need to learn also to start and stop. Now, what do I mean? That, for example, with crawling, when they pull forward, and you'll also already see that now, probably the ones that you mentioned that they were making snake movements and like almost starting to crawl. What you see a lot of the times is that they initiate that from the bum, and the bum comes up, or the legs, and then they go like this. And they go face forward into the mat because they haven't really learned yet how to place the hands to the front and pull from there. That's one. And also not how to stop that movement. Like if I am moving forward and I stop suddenly, I know to break here, and the baby will still fall forward. So a funny way to play with it, to playfully teach them that, is to take like a sheet or a blanket, just a big sheet, and you what you can do is you put the baby somewhere in the middle on his belly on the sheet, and you pull it around the floor, around the living room. You can do that. You try, feel it out how fast you can go, but you can do it pretty fast. And then you pull it around and you stop, and you pull and you stop, and you pull and you stop. And what you see is, because they will just be in their normal belly position, what you'll see is that every time you stop, you see this. And some might actually fall all the way with their face still on the floor. And some may be already very sturdy. Maybe some daredevils are already doing this while you're pulling them. And then it's even harder. And you want to see that they learn through that repetition of that movement, constant stopping. They learn how to brace themselves for that. And this is both making their arms stronger, their shoulders, and it's teaching them something about balance in this position. So yeah, that's really a fun exercise to do, to like pull them around like that. Yeah, I think those are for now the most important ones. And oh yeah, what I wanted to say, because not everyone wrote yet about where they are exactly now, but for the ones that are not yet rolling from back to belly, all of this is still relevant, but keep also focusing on the rolling itself still, of course. And remember that with that, well, obviously this doll is not wearing the right clothes, but didn't have any other, shouldn't have been with the feet in, but that's okay. Really focus on when you're stimulating the rolling, only through the ankles. I'm placing like this, and I can pull a little bit from this ankle, but the baby needs to really do all the work by themselves by now, and they know to do this. So no more rolling like this. No hand on the trunk anywhere, not needed. Really give as less help as possible, and try also to get that initiation from them. So have something interesting and they want to follow that, and then they already roll to the side and you stimulate the last part by holding that ankle, but as less as possible. With the snaking movements, yeah, it's also something that comes back at a later stage, but this is what you will see is frustration, probably a lot of the times, face in the mat and with the legs up. This is something that you should completely let them freely do, and do however they want to do it and whatever they want to do it, and the frustration is good. Try not to think like, oh, she gets frustrated, she needs to learn to do it better. No, this is how they learn that, and they get like super angry, and then because of that they push themselves forward, and hey, they ended up next to the toy they wanted. Oh, okay, and that's teaching them something. So keep it that way. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Enough talking for me. Please all send me like videos of doing these exercises with questions that you have about it, if you have, but also for me to see like, okay, you're here now, so then I would do it like more like this or less like that, or I don't know. And also if you have a specific question, of course, about something, I'd be more than happy to watch with you like that, and to give some specific tips here and there. Yeah, that specifically. So that's it for now, and I hope I will be doing another one of these soon, probably like next week, and this way we can sort of still keep each other updated, and you can still keep, you know, progressing with the way you play with the babies. And yeah, hang in there everyone, and hope to talk to you soon. Goodbye.